What's going on today? I hope you had a very blessed day today. I'm your host, Zach SchuZ, Shoemaker, and boy, do we have a special episode in store for you today. As you can hear from many of the stars on Arizona Star Prep Team, Dream City, you're going to hear from MarJon Beauchamp, Maj Dusanic, Marko Milivojevic, and Arthur Kaluma, and I promise you not one of those interviews will you want to miss. But if you want to hear from other Dream City stars, you can go ahead back to episode 23 to hear from Jalin Anderson, or go back a few episodes and listen to episode 63 with Jalin Martinez, and I promise you those are special episodes and interviews as well. But there's much more special things upcoming on SchuZ Views that I promise you you're not going to miss. So make sure to subscribe to this podcast depending on whatever platform you might be listening to this on. And make sure to head over to Instagram and Twitter to follow me as Zach Shoemaker to stay up to date on SchuZ Views. But with that being said, I think we got to hop right on in. So let's get started. I'm blessed to welcome on one of the top players in all the country, especially in class of 2020 where he currently ranks in as the number 24 overall player. He's a 5-star recruit, number 1 overall player in all of Arizona, and the number 4 overall small forward. He's a star player at Dream City and also was leading ML20 this past summer in the Gauntlet. And that person has also decided to take a very special route to his NBA destination. And that person, though, is MarJon Beauchamp. What's happening, my guy?
How you doing? Good.
Pretty good. So let's jump right in. Obviously, there's been a lot of stuff going down in Dream City. Obviously, you guys put on a show in the very first grind session, but let's just talk about your first overall decision now to skip college and also prepare for the 2021 draft.
Right. I just thought it was the best decision for me and my family, just to get better, and I thought it was a better route for me than just going to college for like 6-8 months and I can be getting ready for the draft. So I thought that was just better for me.
Without a doubt. I mean, I think that's something that a lot of guys you see have been preparing. I mean, obviously some guys, you see Darius Baisley obviously went and did an internship with New Balance, stuff like that. I mean, guys are obviously going overseas. I think you look at it, guys understand that honestly, if you're a top player and we all know you're going to the NBA, either if it's one and done, whatever, in 1 year you'll be in the NBA. It's just a matter of saying how can you get the best, most prepared for the NBA so you can walk in as a rookie and be the best ready to compete against the competition.
Right.
So obviously in that year time of really training with those guys, I mean, you get to go over there and play with the Chameleon box, and you're really going to be over there with 6 different NBA coaches, really getting you ready for the draft. So talk about what that is going to be like, learning from those guys with great minds.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good time. We have a lot of stuff like that they told me like we're going to be doing, like just getting prepared, and I think it's a good choice for me, and I think it's going to get me way more prepared than college would have. And I'm just excited to work with those guys and get like all the NBA experience before I even get there. I'll be ready.
Without a doubt. Is there maybe one part that you're really looking forward to in terms of one part of your game you really want to add on to it?
I think just getting stronger, and my game is just there. It's there. I just got to get a little stronger and more athletic.
Without a doubt. I mean, now looking at all the competition, I mean, obviously there's a lot of great players, especially at the small forward position in terms of small forward shooting guard kind of position that this year's draft class for 2021. But talk about some of the guys that you really like competing against. Obviously, we saw you against Jalen Green. Talk about some of the guys you do like going against in terms of small forwards in your class.
Brandon Boston was a good one. I think we competed very well. Jalen Green also. Namari Burnett, he was good.
No doubt. And I think, like you said, I mean, obviously those guys are all elite players, but just the first 3 guys you really list, I mean, Burnett, I think is going to be someone that's going to see what position he really pans out being. But I think in terms of you, Jalen, and Brandon, I mean, you 3 are guys that really all 3 guys have star potential to be at a modern-day small forward that can actually shoot the ball at a high level, but still do the stuff about facilitating, getting to the rim like a lot of the guys do as well.
Right.
And so I think one question a lot of people always were wondering, if you did decide to take the college route, what did that look like? I mean, some people said, obviously, Jake and Stockrider said that you could be down between Alabama, Washington, Arizona. But what were some of the schools that you really were interested in, you really liked?
I liked Arizona, UW. Alabama was one of the top of my schools, and Oregon State was a big one too. Michigan, Oklahoma State, Kentucky, like they're in the loop.
Was there anyone maybe you were talking to that you really wanted to possibly team up with in college?
Who did I talk? Brad was one. Tari Eason, because I played with him in Adidas, and we clicked. So yeah, not really anyone else. No.
No doubt. And so obviously talking about your AAU season, obviously you played really well and you really started to blow up this summer playing at MO20, but talk about what that team was like in the gauntlet.
Oh yeah, we were good. Really at the end, I think we started doing really good and like clicking together. We almost took down one of the top teams in the country. We fell short though. Team loaded Virginia. That was a good game. We almost had them.
Absolutely. So was there anyone that really you really were excited and you really decided to play with them because of maybe a player that you wanted to play alongside?
Yeah, that too, and like the coach. He's like an uncle to me. David Lucas. He took a real big part of my like recruitment and just taking care of me when I need. And yeah, he's a big family guy, and I think he'll be in my loop like as I continue on and stuff. So yeah.
There's a lot of positives about playing AAU. There are a lot of downfalls, and most of the time the downfalls is that the coach or the directors don't necessarily embrace the player. They're not really in their lives. There's stuff issues like that. But to be able to have a coach that invests in you and someone that really, like you said, will be in your loop from here on out really is a huge thing.
Yeah.
And then also, I mean, coming from Washington, I mean, there's really they've really started to blow up with players coming out of there. I mean, you look at guys in colleges, a lot of them, but I mean, now you guys are talking about having star prospects, top 15, top 20, top 10 players coming out of this. Talk about really what it's like being a part of that and really looking down at the younger generation coming up and coming guys from out there.
Yeah. Man, it's been a long road I came from because I'm not from Seattle. I'm like from a town 2 hours away, Yakima.
Hmm.
I've been there since like 8th grade. Been coming down to Seattle, playing them all my life. So then I moved there my freshman year, and then just started to click off there, and I started getting noticed.
Without a doubt. Are there any young guys from out there that you really are excited to see how they develop throughout their high school careers?
Yeah, Paulo. Yeah, I've been seeing him since he was little, and my friend John Hart.
Hmm. And so now kind of talk about your high school career. I mean, obviously now Dream City is now your newest school that you're playing this year, but talk about really where you started and how you've gone through. I mean, for your first year, you were able to play against a really great player in Brandon Roy. You were able to have him coach you. You guys were able to be a state championship. You played alongside with Michael Porter Jr. Talk about what that year was like.
Yeah, that year was like the biggest experience I ever been in. So yeah, we were like, man, we were stars. Like it was crazy. We had like a lot of fans after the game. I never seen anything like that. So like, I just come from a small town. Never been like out of town like that.
That's
It was,
crazy. And I think definitely going as a freshman, I mean, obviously you knew you were talented and all, but be able to play alongside an established senior, almost like you are now, where people know who you are. He's obviously was the top player in the class. Being able to play alongside someone like that and see have him kind of impact you, it must have been huge.
yeah, very.
Hmm. So how would you say his connection, and has he maybe given you any advice of how to grow now throughout high school and grow into the player you are today and now moving forward?
Yeah. I keep in touch with him, and yeah, I be telling him like what I've been doing. Like when we beat Sierra Canyon, I texted him like, hey, bro, we just beat Sierra Canyon because we did it to them my freshman year. So it was cool to do that again.
Without a doubt. And then obviously moving to your sophomore year, you still follow Brandon Roy over there. Talk about what that experience was like.
Yeah, it was amazing too. He's a good coach, and like he showed us a lot of things like going on, like situations in the NBA, like just giving us tips and stuff, and he loved us.
I think having an NBA coach is huge. Just be able to have him impact you. And obviously, like you said, he's established what you really want to do someday. I mean, he was that star player in the NBA, so being able to see what he was able to accomplish and have him kind of prepare you for that's a huge thing as well.
Yeah.
And then you went into your junior year at Rainier Beach. Talk about what that experience was like and really what you enjoyed while being there.
I had to step up because I wasn't like the main guy usually those 2 years. So this was my year. So I came out at first, like the first part of the season, I wasn't doing that well. I was just trying to get in the groove and like with my new teammates. But then like at the end, I just started taking over and just being that guy. But it was a good experience. Coach Mike is a good coach over there. and he'll always be family.
No doubt. And one thing that you could obviously take away from that is, like you said, in the beginning, you kind of were just a player that was a very good player. A lot of people started seeing you, giving you offers, obviously. But
Yeah.
throughout that last year, junior season, you really blew up into a national spotlight where people started seeing you, okay, this guy's for real. He's a top player in the country. And your rankings obviously went flying up. Everyone started regarding you as a top player. So what was that like, seeing the country finally really start to embrace you and see you as a top player?
It was cool. I was like, dang, finally, like they finally noticed. So yeah, I was happy for myself and continuing to work though.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And obviously that now led you coming out to Arizona now, and playing for Dream City. But originally it was obviously Bella Vista. But talk about what that was. Obviously deciding to transfer, move all the way out to Arizona and start your senior season out here now.
Yeah, I just wanted to start something new, get out like Washington, because really I don't think I had nothing to prove there anymore, to be honest. So I just wanted to come out and get on this like a national schedule and just play the top people in the country.
And so I think one thing too that a lot of people wonder, I mean, Arizona's obviously always been a state that hasn't really had a national spotlight on them. It's been some players, I think Marvin Bagley is one of the first guys that started the thing out trend out here in Arizona, DeAndre Ayton, some of those guys, Nico, but obviously all of a sudden this past couple of years you see tons of guys, and this is the biggest year of guys coming in. We see Hillcrest bringing guys like Mike Foster, Keon Edwards, Cuff Johnson, obviously Compass have brought in guys like Frankie Josh, and you guys have brought in you guys brought in Alex now, Art. I mean, the list goes on, but talk about really what went into why everyone's deciding now to come out to Arizona to play.
Yeah, I'm not sure to be honest. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I didn't know like Arizona wasn't all like this every year, but yeah, it's a new experience. There's a lot of stars in Arizona, and it's good to be like a part of that. So yeah, I'm excited for everyone. I don't have beef with anyone out here. I hope everyone's doing well. Until we play them though, like on that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's something that's cool too. You see all these guys, obviously so many guys from all over the country. I mean, just your team alone, you see guys coming from really all over the country. I mean, Compass, everyone, Hillcrest, everyone's from all over the country, and some are outside the country. And but at the same time, you guys all get in the same workouts, same gyms. Everyone's cool. And like you said, obviously when it's game time, things do change and you obviously want to win. That's obviously
Yeah,
great. But at the same time, there's always just so much love created from guys from all over the country that create a great bond.
right.
hmm And so when you match up against the teams, I mean, like you said, I mean, there's so many elite teams now, prep schools. I mean, we got there's really four elite teams between Hillcrest, you guys, Compass, and Powerhouse. But talk about really where you see some of the talent, some of the top guys on all these teams.
Yeah, the kid from Phoenix Prep, he's very good. We like went at it though, like
hmm
game, but that's basketball, so I'm not really tripping about that. But yeah, he's really good. They got two other players too, or three actually. Their whole team's good though, but like, yeah, I see some people that can do some damage in the next level.
hmm
Hillcrest got some dogs over there. I don't really speak too much on them, but AZ Compass, Frankie, that's my guy. That's like my brother for real. And he over there. Their whole team good too.
And then obviously your team too. I mean, you guys now have loaded. I mean, Jhaylon
Yeah,
Anderson's a guy that right now is currently not even really ranked, but I think we all know that he's easily a top 200 player at the least, probably top 100. I mean, we see he can take over games when you weren't able to play. He
right.
stepped up and he can take over. I mean, he's an elite point guard. Obviously, we know Art can do. Alex is going to develop into a really superstar. Maj is a great player. I mean,
Yeah,
the list can go on and on here. I mean, just talk about what your team's like and really what you like playing alongside all these guys.
yeah, they some dogs, man. They don't give up, so we're down, and they didn't stop even when I went down.
And yeah, I think like you said, I mean, you guys are guys that everyone can step up on your team. I mean, the list goes down. I think everyone, obviously this last in the very first grind session, you put on a show, but you were having to deal with the flu and you were dealing with being sick, and you guys
Yeah,
still came out winning all your guys' games pretty much, except for the final one, which was a great game. But how often will that shot go down? I mean, that's an obvious W for you guys any other time, and
yeah,
that's when you look at. I mean, coming out as an undefeated team and competing against the number three team shows that you guys aren't currently ranked in the top 25 or whatever, but easily should be in that group.
yeah, for sure.
hmm
We're gonna turn some heads though soon.
Without a doubt. And I think one thing, when everyone saw this talent come together in your team and they started seeing some of the tournaments, obviously in some of the summer tournaments, you guys weren't playing that well in terms of chemistry. But I think obviously it took a lot of time, a lot of pieces. Some guys transferred out, some guys really. You guys finally have the final roster now, and kind of talk about what it's been like getting that chemistry and finally learning how to play each other with each other and really come together.
Yeah, it was a long. It wasn't that long, but like it was a long road. Like going through it. I think we're good now though. So I think we're gonna be a good team. I think we can take it all this year in the grind session. Yeah, we're gonna be ready though. We just continue to work though. Like we stay working every day, 2 times a day.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. And so looking at all the teams in the grind session, I mean, this is a lot of talent. Obviously, we just talked about some of the Arizona teams. We talked about Prolific, but the other teams now that weren't in this one, the West Coast, there's East Coast teams as well. Obviously, Isaiah Todd and guys like that. Let's talk about really what you guys are looking at in terms of who else will be big competition in terms of the grind session, in terms of winning it too.
Uh, to be honest, I haven't seen the East Coast like teams yet, so I don't really have much to say about them. I don't really know who they have over there. So, but like on the West Coast side, like Phoenix Fresh, I think they're gonna be a good like contender on that, and Prolific of course, and I think Trinity, they have a good squad
No
yeah,
doubt.
for sure.
And now also talking about the Prolific matchup, I mean, you obviously had the flu. You're still coming back from being sick. And I
Yeah,
mean, obviously we know the shot, how it happened. You missed the free throw and all, but at the end of the day, you still put on a show. And I think one thing that really was underlooked was the fact that, of course, you were sick and all that, but you came out and still put up a show. And Jalen Green, obviously, all respect to him. He's still a legit great player. There's no questioning that. But I
yeah,
think a lot of people can say in that game, you did outplay him. And that's
yeah.
something that a lot of people haven't really taken notice in, but he obviously is the number 3 player ranked in the country, and you're currently around a little bit in front of the 30s. But how about really where you think that gap is, and really where do you see yourself competing against those guys and being in the top group or the top 10?
Yeah, I think I can play with any one of them. To be honest, coming at you every time. I don't care who you are. None of that.
No doubt. Is there maybe one thing that you see in your game that is really your strong suit that you really like going to the most?
Yeah, I think my pull up. I think that's really grown up for me. Yeah, a couple people like tell me like I have like the best pull up shot in the country, but yeah, like
Hmm.
you said that. I seen you say that.
Yeah, for sure.
That a couple other people did too.
Hmm. I mean, I think that's something that you look at as such a lethal thing. I think in today's world, I mean, almost everyone's taught you have to shoot, and I think that's something from the point guard to the center spot you have to shoot to make it to the NBA level. And so you
Yeah,
have to look at other ways how do you just do more than just shoot, because there's so many people in the world that can shoot now. And I think
yeah,
two of the biggest things that I really need is a pull-up game, because that's pretty much unguardable. You don't know when someone can shoot it, and your release
yeah,
time's insane. The other one's obviously the fadeaway shot, and those two things are huge and lethal if you can get those down. And having that shot's going to more than translate to the next level and to the NBA level especially.
yeah,
Hmm. And so one other thing that you look at a lot of these guys that don't necessarily play in college, they go overseas, it's hard to watch them play, obviously. They're not on everyday TV, or guys that train, whatever it may be. They don't really get to watch them play for another year. So when NBA teams start looking at you and really people start looking at the 2021 draft, what can fans expect to watch from you or see from you in terms of that level?
I like to create for others, so I'll do a flashy pass or something. So I get everyone involved. I think so make them look better.
No doubt. And I think one thing that a lot of people don't really look at about you is you're obviously everyone talks about being one of the best teammates. And that's something that I think separates a lot of people in the NBA because there's so many talented players, but being a great teammate is a huge thing as well. So kind of talk about that and how you really just how you decide to lead by example and how you lead in the locker room.
Yeah, I don't really say much to be honest. I let them like do like all that when I try to help my guys out, like tell them what they did wrong, like on the court or something, and just try to correct them and just be a big leader for them and teach them and learn from them. And I think I do that well.
Hmm. And one other thing that I know a lot of people started saying, but was the thing that for you, it probably is just nature. You want to get better when you mess up. And we talked about it earlier, though. The missed free throw, obviously, to cost the game in a way against Prolific. But right after the game, a lot of people saw, obviously, you went out and you decided to shoot free throws. And with Art came out and helped you and get you rebounds and all that. But talk about really what is that in terms of you and what really drives you to want to be better and really make up for your mistakes.
Yeah, I was just felt really bad for my team because I let them down. They kept on saying like I didn't let them down, but I did. So I just didn't want to have that feeling ever again. And so I just now like I gotta make 20 in a row before I leave the gym.
Mm-hmm.
That really drove me. So
Absolutely. And I know you and I kind of talked a little bit about that. Just the fact that it is a huge thing. It's going to suck right now. It gets you better. But at the end of the day, right now, obviously, this isn't going to help you in terms of the NBA. And so, I mean, when you come down and you're playing in the NBA, rather it be a regular season game, the playoffs, the finals, whatever it is, you now know that that's not going to happen again. I mean, you obviously put the work in. That's something that today is maybe that day was the day that you can make mistakes. I mean, now it's going to prepare you for the future where you know it's not going to be a problem.
right.
Mm-hmm. And then obviously one other thing we gotta hit up is obviously your other side of the basketball. A lot of people in the NBA have started finding other passions outside of basketball, and for you, you're another one of those athlete rappers. So talk about really where that passions come from and really your first song playing Pull Up and Ghost.
Yeah, I was actually in LA, and after the Sierra Canyon game,
Mm-hmm.
I know my friend from my freshman team, my Nathan Hill.
Mm-hmm.
We used to make music like my freshman year, and it used to be on SoundCloud, but we took it off. But it went crazy. It had like one song went viral, like it had like 250,000 like views on SoundCloud. It was just crazy, but he just took me in the studio one day and we made a song. So and I started liking it. So
And I think a lot of people also look at it. I mean, it's not, there's a lot of people that want to be SoundCloud rappers and stuff, but for you, but obviously a lot of people have said that actually is a legit good song. I mean, I definitely like it. It's definitely a huge thing. And a lot of people, some people out there, I think old school people will say you have to all be all out about basketball, but at the end of the day, you're not playing basketball for 24 hours and even practicing. There are some free time, and you see guys like Marvin Bagley, obviously Damian Lillard, Iman Shumpert, the list goes down. There's guys that can be legit rappers and also have another industry that they have a hobby and that they love, and that's just a huge thing to have going forward.
yeah.
And before I let you go, I was like wrapping up a couple different questions. The first one being, who in your life would you say has been your biggest role model?
I think my biggest role model been my dad, for sure.
hmm That's big time. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, God always puts different people in your life to help really influence you down your path and get you to the point you're at, and that's just a huge thing.
Right.
And my final question I like wrapping up with is, how would you say God's helped get you to the point you're at today?
Man, me and God been through it a lot. Like I prayed at night, like late nights, all that. I really appreciate him for putting me in this position. Take care of my family soon. Get back to my community. That's one thing I want to do. For real. Like just get back to my community. It's real rough out there right now. Like my friends just died. A lot of my friends like died, like younger than me.
hmm
It's painful out there. I'm just trying to get it better out there.
Absolutely. I mean, that's something that obviously is a hard thing to really take in and all, I know, but I mean, just knowing that you are obviously have this purpose that God has sent for you to be something special and be able to just embrace that. And obviously, He's going to get you to the NBA where you'll be able to make a lot of money and be able to do great things for His kingdom. And like you said, that's something that He has a purpose for everyone. Yours is to play basketball, but another huge purpose that's probably even going to be bigger is to work in your community and be able to go back and really help out and change things a lot like what LeBron and a lot of other NBA athletes and professional athletes have been able to do.
Right.
hmm Well, I definitely appreciate you taking time to come on today, my guy. Obviously, best luck with this upcoming season. I'm excited to see what you get done in the NBA.
Appreciate it, man.
No problem, bro. God bless.
Yeah, God bless.
I'm excited to be to welcome on the number 242 overall recruit in the class of 2020. The three-star ultra himself currently ranked in as the number 49 overall power forward and number 12 overall player in all of Arizona. He comes into leading Dream City after winning bronze in FIBA U18 with Slovenia. And he's now one of the newest members of the University of San Francisco's recruiting class in the class of 2020. And that person is Maj Dusanic. What's going on today, bro?
Hey, what's good, bro? How you doing?
Pretty good. So, I mean, obviously there's a lot we can get into today, but let's just kick it off. Obviously talking about your big-time commitment. You're officially now going to go to college, and you signed out with going to University of San Francisco. Talk about that decision.
So basically, I met the assistant coach all the way back in August while I was playing for my national team of Slovenia at the Under 18 Euro Championship. And that's where the coach reached out to me after a game. He told me he's really interested in me and that he's an assistant coach at San Francisco and all that. So we kept in touch all the way up until now. And a couple weeks ago, they hit me up and told me they want to bring me out on an official visit, let me see the school, the campus, the city, and everything, see how I like it. And I felt good with it. I went with it. So I went there. I checked out the campus. The campus is really nice. It's in the city, but it's quiet, peaceful, so you can really like lock in on your thing. Then the people seem cool. The city's nice. So, and the coaching staff is also amazing. So at the end of the signing day, like it just felt a no-brainer for me to sign.
That's big time. I mean, like you said right there, that's a key thing. Just really making sure that you feel embraced and that you really like the environment. Because I think in today's world, obviously, your goal is still to play professional at the next level after college, and just find a place that truly embraces you and a coaching staff that you know really loves you and wants to put you in the best position to be the best player is really a huge thing.
Exactly. And they flew out my mom also from Europe, from Slovenia, so that's a big thing. So I could tell they really wanted me, so I just decided to go with it. It's a good school. They also got good academics. Basketball is better and better every year, so yeah, I just went with it, and I love it.
Without a doubt, that's big time. So obviously, a lot of people always want to know, though. I mean, obviously, there's still another signing period down the line, but talk about really why was it that you knew that at this time you really wanted to sign now as opposed to maybe waiting a couple more months and waiting till the spring signing period?
Um, I don't really know. I just like when I went there, I just really loved everything, and I talked to my family and everybody, and they all agreed. Like there wasn't like pushing in any direction. They were just all supporting my decision, like advising me. So they were all happy with my decision. But the main reason I wanted to like go with it now is because I felt really wanted. Like I'm gonna be the man there next year, or the next 4 years. And I didn't really want to wait for the spring signing period because like most of the scholarship, I mean, a lot of scholarships are already like given away by that time, and colleges are just like looking for like backups, like just getting people. Like if they didn't get a person from the top of their list, they're just looking for backups. But here I really felt like wanted, so that's why I went with it.
That's big time. So, are there any other colleges that maybe had an interest in you that you were talking to or maybe were giving heavy consideration to?
Yeah, I was talking to Tulsa, the University of Tulsa, Stanford. I was talking to them. Then UC Riverside and New Mexico also hit me up. Purdue, I think. I think that's pretty much it.
Without a doubt, that's huge. And now, so
Yeah.
when you get ready to go play in college, obviously you still get to play this year and all, but when you get to go to college, really what's something that you really are excited to be able to prove to people at the next level, and where do you see your strong suit being that the fans can really expect to watch you perform at?
I think I understand the game really well because like Europe and America, it's such a different style of play. Here, everything's much more like individual, very fast, athletic. Like players are really good individually, but where Europe is better at, from my point of view, is like just understanding the game, like understanding defense, understanding how to make plays, play calling, and all that. And I think I got a lot of advantages in that part of the game. So I'm just really happy to go to college because the style of play is a lot more organized than it is in high school. So I think that's where I'm going to excel.
And now, obviously, you've talked about playing in Europe, and that's obviously where you have been really your entire life up until this
hmm
summer. But really talk about what was that experience like, and really what was it like growing up out there, and really learning how to play basketball from like you said, at a different kind of level than basketball is in America.
Yeah, well, basketball actually wasn't even my first choice. I played soccer for 7 years because soccer is like huge in Europe. So I
Hmm.
played soccer for 7 years before I switched to basketball. And basketball was really just like something for me to do, like a hobby or whatever, just to not be sitting around on the couch all day. And I never knew it would take me this far, and much more to come, of course. But yeah, I was practicing for a few weeks and I fell in love with it, and here I am. But yeah, like Europe is a lot different. We don't play for our schools at all. We play for like clubs all year long, and the season is also much longer than it is here. Like our season starts in September and it ends in May. So basically, you only get the summer off. But yeah, like as I said, like everything's much more organized. There's not that much emphasis on individualism or whatever. Players are, I think, better here individually, like here in the States. But I think just in general, people from Europe, basketball players from Europe, understand the game better. And I'm not saying that that goes for everybody, but just like
Hmm.
in from my point of view, like in general.
Yeah, for sure. I know one thing, obviously, a lot of people in America do say this, but obviously, we're not always there to really live it out and see it. But in your point of view, where would you say basketball is kind of starting to grow in Europe in terms of being really a dominant sport? And is it anywhere near as soccer is, or is soccer still by far the most dominant sport?
I'd say soccer is still the most dominant sport, but in some countries like Spain, Greece, Turkey, uh, even Slovenia, like because we won the Euro Championship in 2017 with Goran Dragic and Luka Doncic. So when we won that Euro Championship, it really started to grow in popularity among people. People started to watch it again and everything. Um, so I think it's slowly but surely catching up to soccer. But soccer still has the lead in like being the main sport.
Hmm. Without a doubt. I know another cool thing, like you said, I mean, you just listed two guys that are really top of the NBA level, and Goran Dragic and obviously Luka. We see what he's doing, putting up MVP
Hmm.
numbers right now. And talk about really what it's been like seeing guys come from your country and seeing guys really start to lay like a platform, really bringing a spotlight into your country and bringing a spotlight into Europe as a whole.
Yeah, it is insane because you can see that like everything's possible, even if you're from such a small country. Like the whole country only has 2 million people. Like that's less than most cities in the U.S. And you can just see that everything's possible if you work hard. Like you can really achieve what you wish for, what your dreams are.
No doubt. I think another big thing obviously is media, being able to really have scouts and people be able to travel around the world. I mean, you see people being found in countries. I mean, almost every year you see two or three new countries that's never had an NBA player before kind of pop up, and that's
Exactly.
obviously a
Yeah.
huge thing.
Exactly. Yeah. You get a lot more exposure with like especially when you have a star like Doncic being from your country. You get so much more exposure to your country. A lot of players can be seen that could never be seen like if Doncic wasn't doing what he is doing right now, or if Dragic wasn't doing what he's doing right now. It's truly like a blessing to have those types of players come from our country.
Hmm. Without a doubt. And you touched up a little about that. I mean, being able to play for a club team really almost year round. So kind of talk about what it's like getting adapted into playing at that level and also just being able to play against a lot of like grown men. I know a lot of people are able to do that too. It's just like you said, a lot of different play style, a lot of different feeling of basketball. Talk about really what it's like really growing and adjusting to that kind of basketball.
Yeah, I think you get like way more experience for your playing time. Like you get a lot more value in your playing time because sometimes I mean, a lot of the time you play against like grown men and people like you can play for older teams. Like let's say you're 15 years old, you can play for an under 19 team. So you're really always going against good competition that may be like stronger than you, has more experience than you, and so you just learn how to play the game the best you can if you're competing against those
Mhm.
types of players that have been in the game for longer than you've been there, that are stronger than you, smarter than you, have more experience and all that. So it just makes you better overall.
Absolutely. And you also had an experience where you go represent your country while you play with FIBA, and you guys were able to walk away being really third place in all of the FIBA tournament. Kind of talk about what that was like, and not just also becoming a third place overall and winning bronze, but being really breaking out and really getting a national spotlight on you?
So my first time with our national team was the under 16 championship in Montenegro, and we were really good at that time too. Our score was 7-2. We won 7 games and lost 2, but we lost in the quarterfinals, so we finished in 10th place. But we only had 2 losses against in the whole tournament, which was really good for us. And we knew that we can really compete now this year in the under 18. So we started off with 30 something players, like the workout camp and everything. And then the list just kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller until there was 12 of us. And all the preparations, like the strength and conditioning, all the plays we had, everything was just insane. A lot of information to eat up, to learn all that. But it was a cool experience. You get really close with guys from all around your country. You make connections that last for your entire life, and especially if you're a part of winning the bronze medal, that was insane.
That's big time. And obviously, a lot of people have the feeling and know that USA usually is one of the top teams at all level when it comes to national competition. But for you guys, really, when you see them come out and play, I mean, when you haven't really seen American talent before, what do you really think who really has the biggest adjustment period time? Is it the USA guys coming in and learning how to kind of play your style and play against you guys, or is it harder for you guys to first kind of get an idea of feeling how they play?
I think it would be harder for American people to adapt to our style of play, but I don't it's both have disadvantages in the opposite field. So I wouldn't really say it would be harder for any of the sides to get adapted, but just the European players would have to learn how to play individually, expose yourself a little bit and all that, and American players would have to learn how to play in a system to accept a role in their team. They cannot always be the star of the show. That's pretty much it.
I think that's something that's really it took a while to be adapted. I think for a long time, obviously, people knew the San Antonio Spurs as being the team that really mastered that Coach Popovich. But I think now it's kind of come to a really good balance in the NBA where you see a lot of the European players now come in. I mean, we've talked about a few of the guys, but just seeing them kind of incorporate and see how they kind of fall into the basketball system, but also seeing how the USA teams and USA players adapt to having them as well.
Yeah, that is true. And we got before, the European players that played in the NBA didn't really have an impact on the game. They were just kind of role players. But now you see European players taking over. Like the first big time European player was, I don't know, let's say Tony Kukoc. He played with Michael Jordan on the Bulls. And then you had Dirk Nowitzki, which is who's a legend, of course. And now you got Doncic, Dragic, you got Serbian players, Nikola Jokic, the center from Denver. He's, in my opinion, the best big man in the league right now. So yeah, I think Europe really is catching up to USA in terms of basketball.
Without a doubt. And I mean, as we said, I mean, you had a huge summer and you really drew a lot of attention. And that really led you being able to get the opportunity to now come over to USA and now play with Dream City. So talk about what that movement was like and really how you guys started talking and decided for you to decide to come out here and live and play for Team Dream City.
So basically, I wanted to go to college here in the States. Like since I started playing basketball, I knew I wanted to go to college. And I got a friend that's here already in the States. He's in Virginia. And he told me that he's in high school as well. And he told me that if you come a year or two earlier to still play some high school ball here in the States, that you'd get a lot more of exposure to the college scouts and coaches and everything. And that the chances of you getting into a better college would be a lot better if you come to the States a year or two earlier to play high school ball. So I really thought about it, talked about it with my family, and we decided we got a family friend who helped us out with this. And so yeah, basically the Dream City coaches reached out to us. and we reached an agreement. And of course, as I saw online and in the media, Coach Kyle was an excellent coach last year with Bella Vista. He won the grind session, the Chick-fil-A Classic. So I felt like this would be a really, really good opportunity for me.
Without a doubt. And then kind of talk about the adjustment period. Obviously now coming over and obviously not just the time zone difference, but being able to play again, like you said, now you adapting in an American play and really seeing how it's been and playing alongside great players, obviously like MarJon, like Art, and now like Alex,
hmm
Jalin. I mean, all those guys on your team. Talk about really what it's been like kind of getting the chemistry and adjusting to playing USA basketball alongside with them.
So at first, as you said, the time difference at first, like the first month was killing me. I kept waking up in the middle of the night, just couldn't sleep. It was crazy. But then as that passed, I like the game itself is a lot more fast paced. And you don't really have a shot clock. In Europe, there's a 24-second shot clock, like from the under 15 age and up all the time. There's a 24-second shot clock. And you got to learn how to use that shot clock like smart, But here you don't have a shot clock, so it doesn't really matter when you take your shot as long as it's a good shot. And I had to get adjusted to that. Like the game is being played a lot faster. There's not a lot of plays here. You just like play the game with the feel for the game. So basically that's the thing I had to probably adjust the most to, like to the speed and pace of the game.
That's big time. And then talk about some of your teammates. Obviously, there's a lot of star talent really on Dream City. I mean, you guys put up a huge fight against Prolific, the number 3 team in the country, and you guys currently aren't ranked, but I think a lot of people are starting to wake up to you guys. But talk about really what it's been like playing alongside so much talent at Dream City.
It's been great. Like you can really see players that are gonna be really big time, and you can just learn from them. They can learn a thing or two from you, like European style of play. You can learn a lot of things from them, their American style of play. And it's just great, like, because we compete at practice every day. We go hard against each other every day. Because we know at the end of the day, it just make us all better, like as a team and as individuals also. So we just compete at practice every day, and I think it really shows how we play our games. We got a good chemistry. We play together. We share the ball. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's really a pleasure to be a part of this team. We all get together really well. We're basically a family.
That's big time. And now, obviously, like I said a little bit earlier, you guys had a heartbreaking loss, obviously, to Prolific, where Nemari hit one of the greatest shots in high school history, to be honest.
That shot was heartbreaking. But yeah, props to him. He made it. He made it.
So, I mean, obviously, having that kind of big time shot made against you guys, but that still proved to you guys knowing that you guys clearly are number 2. And honestly, if that shot didn't go in, which is a very unlikely shot to go in, you guys upset the number 1 team. And to talk about really what you guys see from here on out in terms of potentially winning the grind session now.
So our plan is, of course, to win the grind session. Like we want to win it all. And we want to prove to everybody. We all feel like these rankings they ain't true, but we'll just let our game speak for ourselves. So we're about to wake up a lot of people.
Without a doubt. And before I let you go, I was like wrapping up with a couple different questions. The first one being, who would you say in your life has been your biggest role model?
My biggest role model probably would be my parents. I just look up to them always come to them for support and everything. And then like my basketball idol, probably LeBron James, just on and off the court. He's an amazing guy off the court and on the court, of course. So that would be it.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously having those blessings that God gives us just to be able to really help inspire us to become great, and also just having the people that helps you really reach that point, like your parents, like friends and family. That's just a huge thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And before I let you go, I was like wrapping up talking about just how would you say God or faith has really got you to the point you're at today?
I am Christian, but I wasn't really strong in my belief, but I'm getting like more and more into it now. as as I go to a Christian school and we got worship every Tuesday and all that. So it's getting me closer like to that thing.
Mm-hmm. That's big time. And obviously, just having got that, it helped kind of get you and grow you as your faith goes on. I mean, obviously, there's always just a lot of stuff to learn. Just be able to get closer and closer to him is a huge thing.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
Mm-hmm. Well, I definitely appreciate you taking time to come on today, my guy. Obviously, best of luck with the rest of the season. And I'm
Yeah, for
excited to see you
sure.
get done at college as well.
For sure. Thanks. Thank you for having me.
No problem, bro. God bless.
All right, bro. Bless.
It's amazing to be able to welcome on one of the star players from Canada, especially in the class of 2021, where he's getting ready to help lead Dream City in this season. He also is one of the star players on Canada Elite while playing in the Under Armour Association this past summer while playing for AAU. And that person is Marko Milivojevic. What's going on today, bro?
Not much. What about you?
Not much. Let's just jump right into this, man. I mean, obviously, it's really been a big time season, start to the season for you guys at Dream City. Kind of talk about really what it's been like getting ready for the season and how it's really turned out so far.
I think we've had a good start to the season. Coach has really been working on our shooting, getting our shots right, and getting our conditioning straight.
No doubt. I mean, obviously, you guys went through now a lot of like preseason games and tournaments, and obviously, you guys had the very first grind session. So, kind of talk about what that's been like. I mean, obviously, you guys didn't win at all, but I think you guys really started to turn a lot of heads and show you guys are becoming one of the top teams in the country. So, kind of talk about what that process was really like.
I think all the preseason games really helped us out, like getting used to everyone, getting used to everyone's playing style, and it just prepared us for the grind session games.
Without a doubt. And obviously, there was one big game when you guys ended up playing the championship against Prolific Prep. But kind of talk about what that game was like. Obviously, it ended, we know, with one of the greatest, really one of the best shots we probably would have seen this season, if not in all of high school basketball history, really. But talk about really what that game was like and knowing that going into that, you guys weren't necessarily a ranked team, but you guys finished it off being really one of the top teams in not just Grand Session, but the entire nation.
I think after coming out with the win against Sierra Canyon, it made us feel really good and confident about ourselves, and it was really a statement game to put our name out. And then the game against Prolific, it was we showed out that we can play with almost any team and that we are one of the best teams in the country, if not the best.
Without a doubt. Obviously, now Dream City really is a new program. So kind of talk about how you guys have really grown together and have really created a great bond.
We just all get along. We all hang out at the team house. None of us really get into fights. We try and do as much stuff as possible with each other. I think that's how we got a good bond with each other.
That's big time. Talked a little about it, but being from Canada, obviously, it's really started to grow into being a really powerhouse basketball producing country. I mean, you guys, obviously, it's always been really dominated by USA, but Canada in the next Olympics will obviously become the second team to have a full roster of NBA players, and that obviously trickles down all the way down to talking about the youth guys in high school. So talk about really what it's been like seeing Canada basketball grow into what it is today and becoming a worldwide known powerhouse for basketball.
A lot of us have shown that we can play with the Americans and that people really look at us as being like softer and like less competitive, but we've shown that we can play against the bigger guys and the Americans.
No doubt. And now, in terms of you, has there been any interest in you in terms of possibly offers or really colleges that you're interested in going to?
Well, all the colleges that have came to our practice, like not knowing about me, now they're starting to learn about me more. Like I've gained interest from Wake Forest, Vanderbilt, Michigan, UC Santa Barbara, and a couple others. I think going up against like Jhaylon, who's a UNLV commit, has really pushed me to like get tougher in the post. And then going up against like MarJon and Arthur and like all the other players, like it just shows me that like I can play with some of the top recruits of the country.
And so when you start looking at maybe committing to college, what are some of the characteristics you're really going to start looking at in terms of seeing what you want to see really from a college that really will attract you there?
Mostly having a good relationship with the coach, and then obviously going to a good academic school where I can, after basketball, look to build a future.
And then before I let you go, I was like wrapping up with a couple different questions. The first one being, who in your life would you say has been your biggest role model?
I'd say my parents have really helped me a lot. Like, they've always like cared about me and like paying attention to basketball, always like paying for the trips and like taking me to practice and like coming out to watch games. They really supported me in my life, and I really appreciate them.
That's big time. I mean, obviously, God puts different people in our lives, but be able to have parents or someone that can really help you achieve your dream that you always want is a huge thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm. And my final question I was like wrapping up with is, how would you say God or faith has really got you to the point you're at today?
Whenever I feel like down on myself, or feel like I I did something wrong or something's not going right, I just like look up to God, and I know that He has my back and He'll always help me if I just trust Him.
I mean, obviously, there's different ways to really help get us to the point too, and just by putting people in your life and also just keeping you on your path as close as you can is a huge thing because obviously he's got a big path for you, rather it be on basketball or something else down the road.
Yes, sir.
Well, I definitely appreciate you taking time to come on today, my guy. Obviously, best luck this upcoming season. I'm excited to see what you get done from here on out.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem, bro. God bless.
It's truly a blessing to be able to wrap this episode up with one of the star players, not just in Arizona, but the entire country, especially in the class of 2021, where he currently ranks within as the number 35 overall player and a 4-star recruit. He's number 8 overall power forward and number 2 overall player in all of Arizona. He was one of the star players that helped lead Houston Hoops this past summer, and he's one of the star players for Dream City. Here he has offers from the likes of USC, St. John's, UNLV, Oklahoma State, and many more, and he's already drawing comparisons to the likes of Draymond Green. And that person is Arthur Kaluma. What's going on today, bro?
Hey, what's going on, Zach?
Nothing much. So let's just jump right in. Obviously, we're now in the middle of a season now with a grind session and playing with Dream City, but let's just talk about really how did you decide to come to Dream City? Why did you decide to come out here?
I decided to come to Dream City because I wanted to play against better competition. You know, at the place I was at was big, but I felt my vision was like bigger for myself. I know I could get somewhere.
That's big time. I mean, obviously, like you said, I mean, I know you're pretty vocal about that too. I mean, you know that you're a top player in the country. I mean, obviously, you're ranked as a top 50 player, but I mean, you know that you're at least a top 20, top 10 player. So just being able to get the opportunity and a platform to show that is a huge thing.
Yeah, haven't really been seen. Now that I'm getting my name out there, I feel like rankings going to show. I don't really care about the rankings, though. I want to get to my end goal.
Mm-hmm. Without doubt. And so kind of talk about your teammates. Obviously, there's a lot of star talent that came out here. Obviously, guys like MarJon came out. You have Jhaylon. I mean, you got so many talents of guys that came out really playing alongside you. So talk about really what it's been like building up the chemistry and building up the team you guys have now.
Yeah, man, it's great, honestly. I mean, just like every other team, we butt heads, we come together as groups, we complain, we fight with each other, we joke with each other. It's fun being a part of something like, especially with top guys, like fun being a part of a team. There's good people around me, man. Good people around me.
That's big time. Talk about really what it's like going from playing really a team that's ranked number 3 in the country and showing up being a team that's not currently ranked, but really making a statement, a worldwide statement saying that you guys are a top team. What was that like?
Man, just the feeling throughout the game, the energy that was just pumping through my body was just, man, unspeakable. Like, I was like, we could do this. And then Lamar being the player that he is, he closed it out. It was a crazy shot.
For sure. I mean, like you said, I think that game was a huge game. Obviously, you guys came in kind of with the edge and wanted to show up and show people that you guys were a top team. But talk about going, like you said, going into that game. But I think one thing that really stood out was the fact that you guys matched up so well. I mean, there was so much elite talent on the court where not just rankings, but true talent just really matched up on both sides. So talk about really what it was like matching up alongside guys that really are top players that also we'll be seeing in the NBA from years on out.
To me, just in the game, if you're in front of me, you're just another body. I mean, top-ranked guys like Jalen Green, but you don't the game. For me, I just don't feel. I don't care about your ranking. Like, I'm trying to kill you. It's just another body in front of you.
No doubt. And that kind of attitude is obviously a huge thing that a lot of people point out, saying that you have that killer mentality and the mentality that can get you far, not just obviously to college, but to the next level and being a star at the next level. And one guy I know a lot of people have talked to you about being potentially compared to is a guy like Draymond Green. But talk about really what that comparison is like, and really is there anyone else that maybe you see also you kind of compare yourself to?
Most of the time, I'm the glue guy. But I've never really modeled my game after anybody. I've taken snippets of games from other people, but just who is pretty much my mentality.
Absolutely. And so when you look at the rest of the competition in 2021, obviously you're currently ranked in at number 35 and throughout 40. I mean, it really depends on the ranking source you want to go by. But you know as a player where you currently rank up at, and I think that was very evident obviously against Prolific, playing against other highly regarded players and putting on a show and becoming and being one of the top players on the court. But talk about where you see yourself ranking up alongside some of the other top 2021 guys.
Oh, I'm top 10 for sure. I mean, this is a known fact, but I just gotta I can't play down to the level of competition I play sometimes. I feel like that's really holding me back. The fact that I was playing down to the competition and the fact that I wasn't really, I mean, yeah, you hear about me sometimes. It was never just, oh, this Arthur Kaluma kid, and then it would just die out. So, trying to keep it up this time. Maybe I'll show up higher in the rankings. But again, it's not all about the rankings for me. I'll go out and kill you, even if you number 1 or 5 or whatever number you are. You could be 288. I'm going after you. It doesn't matter.
Without a doubt. You just hit something obviously I really like keying in and talking about because, in my opinion, rankings are cool. It's cool for fans or whatnot to really go look at. But like you said, at the end of the day, obviously it's true. I mean, NBA general managers are not going to look at what your high school ranking was when they look at you to draft you. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not something they really care about whatsoever. They look at who you are as a player when you go one-on-one against someone at the combine, at workouts and all that. And that's something that I think if I'm a GM, if I'm betting on someone, I mean, there's not many other people you want to bet on than you because, like you said, you have that killer mentality and and you have confidence that you can beat pretty much anyone out there.
Yes. Just the confidence that you need to have in yourself.
Without a doubt. And so, like you said, obviously adding on a three-point aspect to your game will be a huge thing, and I think that's something that can really develop a player. And obviously, going back to that comparison with Draymond, that's something that obviously him adding on that three-point shot is what made him really not just become the elite defensive player and the glue guy we all know he can be, but be able to space the floor and still become a huge offensive contributor as well for a team that's one of the greatest teams of all time.
Facts.
And so now let's jump in and talk about your club season. Obviously, it was really a great season being able to play with Houston Hoops, but talk about really what went in the decision to go and decide to go play with them.
So originally in summer ball, I started off with a team called Pro Skills, and just wasn't the right fit for me. So I decided to switch over to Houston Hoops. The switch was slow at first. I mean, you can't just come onto a team and say, I'm going to get all the shots I want when I want them. So I played my role. And then as I started to play my role, started being compared to Draymond Green. I was crashing the boards, making assists, making the right reads, making the right play. Then we found ourselves in the Final Four at Peace Gym. And it was a unique experience. It's a unique experience. Looking forward to summer this year, though. I really get to cut loose a little bit.
Are you still planning to go back and play for Houston Hoops again?
That's the goal right now. We'll see. I mean, summer ball is still far away.
Without a doubt. And just going back and kind of talking about the 2021 group as a whole, Obviously, there's a lot of talent. People regard that as being a really elite class. But in terms of Arizona, I mean, Arizona used to be a good talent place for Arizona. It used to have guys like Marvin Bagley and all, but really recently, especially this summer, a ton of talent came in, especially in the 2021 class. Obviously, you guys got a lot of guys like you and a lot of the guys that came over to play Dream City. Obviously, you got Compass, you got Josh Primo and Frankie, and go on. List goes on from there. Obviously, you guys got Hillcrest like Mike Foster and Keon, but talk about really what it's been like and maybe why you decided to come out here and really join a whole lot of top players and coming to Arizona.
Well, I know everywhere I go, I feel like I could dominate. It was actually a surprise to me that all these 2021 guys were here. But nothing really shocked me. I mean, you put your draws on the same way I do. We can go on the court and settle it up.
Mm-hmm. Is it maybe one guy that you would prefer, maybe your favorite guy you've ever matched up against in the 2021 class?
Probably Jonathan Kuminga. Played against him at the top 100, the Nike top 100. A tough guy. Tough guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. And then obviously you're not from Arizona. Talk about some of the young talent that's alongside you in your class, the 2021 class, and up and coming rising stars that you really see taking over Texas basketball as a whole.
Texas basketball is just full of hidden gems. Like, I've seen some of the best players in my class in Texas, but nobody knows about them. Tremont Mark is definitely one of them. LJ Cryer, who was injured for us last year, was absolute beast. He's averaging like 30 something throughout his season. Kid Braylon dropped 60 in a game. It's just the things that you don't hear about. On the map is one of the biggest states, but for basketball, I don't know. People kind of sleep on this.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think, like you said, that's something that I feel like a lot of states obviously are kind of slept on, and Arizona's finally getting to that point where they do have the right amount of media and all, but there's very few states that are truly established states, which is why I think a lot of guys decide to move out. Move outside of the states and come to states like California, New York, Florida, and obviously now Arizona, which is just something that giving you the exposure so you can get the offers, you can get the recruitment, really get the people to notice who you are at the age, at the point in your career that you really want to.
The publicity like New York gets is absolutely crazy. Like, the difference between playing for a team like Magic. Orlando doesn't get that much publicity. But like you go to the Knicks, man, you getting 50,000 pictures of you taking every single game, 10,000 different interviews. You don't even got to be the best player. New York is just built on publicity, along with other states. It's just where you are and where you're located. But if you're good at basketball, it'll all find you. It'll all
Mm-hmm.
find you. It'll all find you.
100% agree. I think you just said that that's such a huge thing because I don't think a lot of people really process that and realize that till later on that sometimes people want to go maybe just because it's a super team, they want to go play there, but they may not be put in the best position. But I think that applies to obviously high school and then obviously college or whatever you want to look at. Just being in a spot that the coach embraces you, that you want to be at, that you know you can be the best player you can be because that's where the NBA GMs will locate you. And in terms of high school, that's where the colleges will find you as long as you're ready for that next level.
Yeah, always big, always big.
Mm-hmm. Without a doubt. And then before I let you go, I was like wrapping up a couple different questions. Who in your life would you say has been your biggest role model?
My biggest role model, my brother. My big bro literally taught me from scratch basketball. I mean, cussing me out, all the good stuff.
That's big time. And God obviously puts different people in our lives to help really be there alongside us and help us get to the point we're supposed to be at.
Yeah, definitely. All glory to
Mm-hmm.
God.
No doubt. And at least right in our last question then, how would you say God's helped get you to the point you're at today?
He's positioned me. I mean, he's put the right people in my life at the right times, all the time. It's just, you could always feel his blessing around me.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't imagine myself being here without him right now.
Absolutely. That's big time. And he obviously has a special path for everyone. And obviously, once you're able to just lock in and key in on what that path is, it's obviously something very special.
Yes, sir. Sir,
Mm-hmm.
appreciate it.
Well, I definitely appreciate you taking time to come on today, my guy. Obviously, best luck this upcoming season. And obviously about the rest of your commitment decision, and obviously from here on out being a top player and going to the NBA.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
No
Look
problem,
forward
bro.
to
God
talking
bless.
to you, man. God bless.